Wow. Dude, up until you gotta understand, like guitar like this, Under the Bridge, the Chili Peppers, the whole record. That brings me back to a really good time because, again, it was like I was ripped off by the industry many, many times. And I think I was. Or I was on the cutting edge of a bunch of other people that were with it. Because, like, me and John Frusciante probably grew up with guitar magazines in our faces that were like, Stevie Ray tells his impression of Hendrixian type playing. And it's just like, yeah, but nobody up until this point, except for me and John Frusciante, could play. But here, the difference was John Frusciante came up with Under the Bridge. And it was about the first time I bought a compressor pedal. So those two things collided, and I was playing just like I was playing with a Hendrixian flow, like Frusciante was. And I still do. And he's clueless. That's the first jazz chord everybody learns. You know what I mean? And this song hit so hard for me as a guitar player because it blew the lid off. It opened the door. I think when grunge started, it was probably with, or like whatever that era was, it started here in the mainstream. And then it just went, I was on the cutting edge. And it's about the time I dropped off is about the time I'm the author of all this shit is really what I think. But yeah, no, like this record was paramount. It coincided around the same time the Beastie Boys came out with their Frusciante. Frusciante was on a hot streak, just like I was. Like at that point, these white boys that figured that shit out, and for whatever weird reason, he must have been a lonely motherfucker that just studied his guitar like I did. And my sister always used to say, "Did you hear that Red Hot Chili Peppers song? It sounds like your guitar on there." And I'd be like, "What?" And then I heard that shit, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" Yep. Because I was just coming out of Aberration when this shit came out, and I was like, wow, that dude just summed up my whole guitar career in one fucking fell swoop. And it happened again with bands like Green Day. I'm like, holy shit, he just crushed my whole career in one fell swoop. Shit like that. But this song was good too because it proved Anthony Kiedis could sing. And that was the first time he sang. Up until this point, it was nothing but like, they had Hillel Slovak and they were doing this ultra fast funk shit that just, didn't showcase Kiedis' voice or anybody else's voice. And Frusciante blew his mind out. He did it. The last time I checked on what he was doing, he was in his house and he was painting on the walls and sitting on the floor exactly like I am right now. And was on a series of Barbies and uppers, and he was just, you couldn't even talk to him. He was fucking crazy. And it's like, I was embarrassed watching him in that video because it was like watching me. And he's just like you, and he's just sitting there on the floor like this. He's just like, you caught me on a bad day, dude. I'm really fucking spun out, and I'm at that point where I'm so high, and yet I got so many barbiturates in me, whereas I don't even know what to do, and I'm just stuck on the floor. And I got a paintbrush in my hand, and you're asking me these fucked up questions. And then I turned into a more sophisticated, shittier old man like Ginger Baker, and I'd be there sitting in my couch with my cane, and I'll be like, I'll fucking put you in the hospital. That's what did it, though. But you remember when that guitar came out? Because you had different grades of players. You had your Jerry Cantrell guy that worked down at the guitar store, and he was a jaded prick, and he fixed guitars, and by night he moonlighted in several bands that were on the burnout strip of what you'd be doing on the cutting edge, and you'd be like, wow. And then he would have all these thoughts that he thought you was thinking about him, like, I'm just an old burnout, huh? I'm just an old scenester, huh? And it's just like, no, I didn't even think that about you when I first came upon you. I remember, and when I first started going to see these guys, I was just a little kid, so they never really digressed in my eyes. But you could see, it's like, yeah, my gigs have gone further down the fucking road, but, I was at where you're at. And it's like, I wasn't even thinking like that, you shitty old man. I can't believe you're supposed to be a mentor. What the fuck is this? And it's like that. And you're like, you fucking shitty old prick. What, you think you're something special because you're coming down the road? You're further down the road this time? You think you're just like, what? No, I just thought maybe, I don't know, I'm just having my run like you had your run. Shit like that. So you had different grades of guitar. You had your glam guy from 20 years ago. You had your Texas blues guy trying to catch the wave of Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar, and then you had your third wave of young kids and teenagers and young adults that were trying to be John Frusciante, and I was the head of all that shit. I was just like, I did all that. I ran all your. If I was a hoe, I would be like Amy Fisher hoe. I'd be the number one track star. I'd be, you know what I mean? I'd be I can't think of a famous hooker. I'd be that bitch. I'd be like Little Kim. I'd be like just you know what I mean? Or I'd be like Madonna. I ran around all these tracks. I and I did all that before I'm even 20 years old. And I got all these old jaded and I got different varying shades of that. And then you get the sound guys that are pissed off that they're sound guys, and they're like, yeah, you know, I really want a band, and I can't even get a band. Let me add echo to your live show and fuck you all up. Then you get jilted sound guys trying to release tracks of what? Man, homie don't play none of that. I came, I saw, you can fuck with my tracks every which way to Sunday. You'd have to cold chop them up and edit them to make them sound fucked up. I would never, when I come through, you know I was here and I blow the fuck out. Like, wah, 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 bah. You know what I mean? I take that guitar seriously, like a religion. And then I put it down for 7 months, like I have. It's been 7 months. I put that guitar down. Nobody said a fucking word to me. I'm like, fuck the world, really. Nobody said a fucking word to me. I put that guitar down 7 months ago. I need to talk to my friend Albert, because this is when shit like this happens. What you doing, man? You playing your guitar? No. What do you mean, no? Would you lose your arms or something? He'd be like, nah, I put it down 7 months ago. That's weird. Why'd you do that? You know, I had a mental crisis. I had a breakdown. My cat died, and I went off drugs. What do you do all day? Nothing. Nada. I do YouTube. It fucking sucks. That ain't good. No, that ain't good, homie. That ain't good at all. You gotta get some pussy in your life or something. Always keep them. Yep. That's what my friend would tell me. I'd be like, yeah, well, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. Yeah, well, you know, try to keep a positive attitude. My mama said, run to him, be with him, throw up everything for him, and tell him he's the one. All right. That's what I'm saying. It's easier said than done. Boy, you should have known by now. Easy does it. You should have known that it's easier said than done. With all those easy proverbs. You know? That's the problem with the guitar, though. You throw that guitar